Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's the Cryptid Hunt. I can't talk. It's me, the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Thank you guys so much for being here today. My goodness, what a beautiful Monday. I just heard that we're going to have snow coming in to Georgia, potentially next week. It is like this is t-shirt and shorts weather today over here. And just to think, it just seems very bipolar when it comes to the weather here in Georgia. We may have a foot of snow next week, according to some weather maps out there. So I'm going to enjoy my day. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. I hope everybody had a great weekend. And wow, we had a fantastic show Saturday night. If you guys missed it, please go back and watch that show with author E.D. Testerman. He is a combat Marine veteran and also an author of some pretty fantastic books. And we talked about the Glimmer Man, and it was kind of related to that video that came out. It actually is from 2 years ago, but everybody's talking about it right now. It's a man who's filming something flying around in the trees in his backyard. I said I thought it might be owls. Okay, but that doesn't, explain why those limbs were breaking and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. But you guys go back and watch that. We talked about Glimmer Man. We talked about invisibility cloaking technology and the suits that have been developed out of China, probably used here in the United States. I'm just saying. So when you're out in the woods doing your Bigfoot field research, watch for invisible men and women out there too, like the predators, but they're humans. Okay. I do believe that those are out there too. It is what it is. And I think it's good that we talk about these things. We discuss it so we know. The more you know, right? The better we can live our everyday lives. All right. Well, today we have our good friend, Mr. Long Island Bigfoot Mike, here in the studio. We are going to be talking about his latest adventures out of Ohio. He was out there hunting down. I don't mean like trying to hurt it, y'all. He was investigating the Ohio Grassman. I believe there's a bunch of them out there. So the Ohio Grassmen and women. And so we're going to hear all about that today. And also we've got some other stuff to talk about as well. So you guys go get your lunch, your popcorn, your tea, your coffee. Come back, come join us. We have much to discuss today on this beautiful Monday. And thank y'all again for being here. Now, if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows and catch up with all of my shows, go to thecryptidhuntress.com. You can find all of my social media links there, all the events that I'll be at, and you name it, it's there on my calendar of events. I am going to be at there's a UFO conference coming up on January the 11th up in Blue Ridge, Georgia. The information for that's on my website. Also, I have the East Alabama Bigfoot Town Hall. It's going to be in Opelika, Alabama on January the 18th. So y'all come see me there the 11th and the 18th. I'll be doing events, public events. So y'all can come see me there. Also, I do have a Patreon if you guys would like to support my work. And I want to thank all of my members. Thank you so much. That is the address there, patreon.com/the Cryptid Huntress. And also, I do have a shop on Etsy. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting my shop and my Patreon. Thank y'all so much for that. And y'all can become a member of my channel over on YouTube for exclusive content. And I'll probably be putting a new video out today on that one. Okay, so let's get to our show. Because we have our good friend, Long Island Bigfoot Mike, here in the studio. Shout out to all my mods, too. Thank y'all for being in here today. And to everybody who's joining us. Okay. The Ohio Grassman is a Bigfoot-like creature that inhabits the woods of Ohio and is often seen eating wheat, and it's said to build a hut-like nest from the tall grass. The Grassman usually are reported being about 7 feet to 9 feet tall, and it seems to be much more aggressive than any other Bigfoot species. The first sightings of the Grassman were reported in the 1800s, and sightings persist to this day. Long Island Bigfoot Mike recently took a trip to Ohio to chase down this aggressive and elusive creature, and today he's joining us to discuss his research. You guys will know Mike. He's been on the show plenty of times. He is also a military veteran as well and does a lot of his research up in Long Island, New York, but he travels all over New York, all over the Catskills, Adirondacks. He's been to Ohio. He's been all over the place. He's not only looking for Bigfoot, he's looking for water monsters like Champ. I think it's is it Champ? I believe is his name. And at a Lake Champlain. And I've even done some boots on the ground research with them up in Montauk at Camp Hero. You guys, please help me welcome to the show our good friend, Mr. Mike, Long Island Bigfoot. What's up, Mike?
Sorry, I was muted. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, just hanging.
Yeah. I hope you had a
nice
wonderful holiday.
Yeah, it was all right. You know, the older you get, it changes, right? It's more for the kids, but
yeah, exactly. We're both parents and of kids. Okay, please mute. Yeah. Speaking of kids, my kid's home from school today, so he's a gamer now. He's got his PS5, and he's actually was just making some noise. If y'all heard that, but yeah, we've got the kids. Christmas is all about the kids. It can actually be a little stressful for single parents, you know what I mean, when it gets to being Christmas time. But nonetheless, it's always fun watching the kids have fun, right?
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. All right. Well, you took your holiday season, a little bit of it, and went, researching boots on the ground. You and I have done some boots on the ground field research together, had a blast doing it.
Yeah.
You tell me a little bit about what you've been doing and where have you been?
So I made a statement kind of a couple of years ago, like I was looking to travel. Like I was just interested in it. I got to that point where I wanted to see different things. And I dedicated like 1 year to waterfalls. Like I visited like I don't know how many I got to. I had like 14 of them marked off. I don't know how many I got to, but it was just something I was very interested in. I felt like there was a lot of power and energy in those waterfalls in those areas. And you know me, I got to get my boots on the ground and really, when I think something, I got to see it, and really feel it out and vibe it out. I went to Florida a few, like 6 months ago. It was really, really hot though. Like, so I really couldn't dial in very well. But this trip to Ohio was a lot of fun. There's a guy out there named Jack Riggs. He's goes by Cameraman, and he's got a whole crew out there that he does stuff with. But I stayed with him, and we were going to try and meet in Pennsylvania. That was the idea. We had a spot picked out. We were going to meet in the middle, but just wasn't working out. So I was like, screw it. Like, I'm not going to just cancel, and I'm just going to go, and it was a hell of a drive. Like, I hit weather both ways. Like I hit horrible wind and rain going there, and then coming back, it was wind and rain in Ohio, and as soon as I hit the Pennsylvania border, and I have to go like 400 miles across Pennsylvania, it turned to snow, and you're going up and down different elevations, and there was just so much snow, and I had to pull off because it was just too dangerous. It was horrible. So I ended up in this Bald Eagle State Park or some rinky-dink cabin with no heat, and it was like the worst experience of my life. Just sitting there, like just shivering, staring at snow nonstop, and I had to like shovel my way out, and apparently the state of Pennsylvania doesn't plow till the snow's done falling. I don't know, but
Oh, that could
Yeah.
have been really tragic,
For me,
actually.
yeah.
You gotta,
For me, yeah. For me to pull over, yeah. For me to pull over, it's bad. You know, it's bad. There's
well,
different types of snow. You know what I mean? There's this was like that slushy, like, slide around. And when you're looking at the middle divider dips down into a ditch, and then the right side is like you drop off a mountain side. Like you don't want to you don't want to slide at all in any direction. So yeah, you get my
that's
drift.
terrifying. Okay, so I
Yeah.
just got word yesterday that there were two men, two people who were out Sasquatch investigating and hunting, I guess, up in I believe it was either Oregon or Washington. Let me pull this up if I can share my screen here. Because I was going to ask you about this today because this is very dangerous. These two men were,
Yeah.
I guess, they succumbed to the elements out there, and so
Yeah.
it's a tragic story. Let me share my screen. Share screen. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, so these men had both passed away, and so my heartfelt condolences go out to these gentlemen. Here we go. It's taking us a second here. About these gentlemen, it says that after a grueling, this is from, I think this is Fox News, 3-day search over difficult terrain and harsh weather conditions, a 59-year-old male and 37-year-old male, both from Portland, Oregon, who were reported missing, endangered, were located deceased in a heavily wooded area off of Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, according to the Sheriff's Department. Both deaths appear to be due to exposure based on weather conditions and ill preparedness. And I want to say, like, my heart goes out to their families, and that's very tragic. And that's something that we really have to prepare for as
Mhm.
researchers. And let me stop sharing my screen here. As researchers, because I mean this could happen to any of us out there.
Yeah.
It really
Well,
could.
my team, yeah, the team. I work with a lot of teams, just like you, like, right, like, and
Mhm.
the team up in Adirondacks, we preach safety more than anything. We do shows about safety more than anything, and preparedness and all those things, right? Because it's not something you want to do like just willy nilly. Um, I say it all the time, like, this is not for everybody. Like, and don't, you can't just go out into a random area. And that's why it was so important for me when I'm going to Ohio or to a different state to meet somebody from there who knows the lay of the land. Because to go in there and just assume, it's just dangerous. Like, and I got my first like kick in the head with that when I went into the mountains, because it's just a whole different story. And leaves on the ground or snow on the ground can really just like cover anything. You know what I mean? Like it could cover like the slightest thing, or it can make you Catterskill. It's I think it's the tallest waterfall in New York, even bigger than Niagara. Maybe not. It's not wide like that, but it's, I think, height wise. And I was hiking on that, and there's signs up there that say like there's like been 20 something deaths and whatever. And I was up there at I took a trail, and I ended up cutting back to it in the middle. And the trail really was thin, and it was like corroding. And because of like the wind and the way the waterfall was spraying, and the ice, and it was icing, I slipped, and one of my feet, went like over the edge. And luckily I was able to just get my footing, but it was not it was not a pretty thing. But yeah, it could happen to anybody anytime, and it's just not, it's horrible. It's bad. And up in Oregon, Washington, those are the big woods. We call them the big woods, you know what I mean?
Yes. I was just thinking, and thank you, Firewater by Design. Yes, I wasn't feeling so great during that last show on Saturday night. I started feeling a little unwell towards the end of that show, but I needed to let everyone know I'd been taking care of my sick child for the past 2 weeks. Okay. And I want to say maybe I got a little touch of whatever he had, but it's gone now. It's gone. We're good. I feel way better. I got the life back in me today. Okay. So thank you. But yeah. So I was just thinking while you were talking, the head of one of my teams, he always had us out doing tracking training. Okay, like animal tracking, human tracking. And there were times where he would, I mean, I don't know if it was like on purpose, but now I kind of think it was on purpose. In the snow. Okay, not only in like nice weather, good weather where it was sunny and shiny outside and warm, but like, you know, the fall, the winter, the spring, but when it was raining, okay, would be a good time. But when it was like snowing, okay, like there was a complete tracking class in a blizzard in North Georgia before. And you know, but I look back on that and I'm like, you know, that makes sense because it's good to know how to track in the snow, but it's also good to know how to survive in the snow too. Because we're out there having to survive in those conditions. And my team is not opposed to going out there. Any of my teams are not opposed to going out there in the snow. It sucks, but they still go out there and do research in the snow plenty of times. We don't get snow often in the South.
I talk about it all the time too. Like I point out different trees and stuff because there are certain trees that when it rains and it snows, like holly trees are one of them. Like that snowfall, if you get up under it against the you know, the trunk of the tree, like you won't get as wet as you will under certain other trees. You know what I mean? Like, and these are just things I point out along the way, whether people pay attention to it or not. You know, it goes, you know, without knowing. But yeah, that's a really good thing to do, especially tracking, because in the snow, in the rain, in the mud, in the sand, I always point these things out. Know your footing, because like I see people do it all the time, and I'm not one to burst bubbles. Like I don't, you know, it is what it is. Like, but I'll see people like, oh my God, look at his footprint, it's huge, and I'm like, oh man, like, you know, because I look at it and I'm like, oh, like that's just sand, and like, you know, it's on a little bit of an incline and it banks, like it makes this big. If you put your foot in the sand, you'll notice like it makes this big, like huge. It makes your foot bigger. It slides in the sand. It makes it. It just your foot will do different things in different terrain. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
like I think I sent you a footprint, and that was important to me because I thought that was cool because it was in like hard ground and ice and like, you know what I mean? And I immediately, when I think I find a footprint, the first thing I do is I go and I put all my weight on it, like near it, you know, and like even try to stomp on that spot and see what happens. If I can't make a mark, you know, at all, then it's, you know, chances are whatever was just there was really heavy, like really heavy.
Now, Mike, is this that three-toed print that you guys found?
Yeah, I think it, you know, I didn't really notice it had three toes till I looked back at it, you know, like when you said we were going to do this yesterday, I was just like, oh, let me see if I can grab a couple pictures. So I grabbed this, and then I noticed it had three toes. I didn't even pay attention to it that much, or if I did, I really didn't remember.
Whoa. Well, that's wild because some of the reports of the Ohio Grassman are that they have three-toed prints, and that's something that is not too uncommon to find three-toed prints when it comes to people that are out there looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that it doesn't always have to be Bigfoot, though. Okay, it doesn't have to be Bigfoot, but it could be. I'm not saying it's Bigfoot. It might be Bigfoot.
Yeah, and then when you hear Bigfoot too, it's like there's so many different variations, right? Like, and we don't know necessarily if they're all the same species or, you know, we don't. I mean, but if you even look at the human race, like just look at the vast races within the human race.
That's right. We've all got weird. Some people have weird feet. I know. If that what you're saying?
No, not just feet, not just feet in general. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, across the board. You know, when you look at all the countries in the world and stuff, there's just so much variety. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, I'm only laughing at this because my grandmother. Okay, I'm not trying to call grandmother Nelly out. Okay, grandmother Nelly, I love you. But she had foot surgery, and so her toes are like kind of spread out a little bit. And she always used to joke about how she had Bigfoot feet, and she did, or she does. Shout out to grandmother Nelly, and so yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't have said that on air. I'm sorry, but grandmother is funny. She's who got me started in learning how to track. I'm just kidding. Love you, grandmother. Love you, grandmother.
She taught you how to drive the tow truck.
Yes. Daryl, that's right. Yes, Daryl. is bringing up Bob Grumpy, the head of the North Georgia Cryptid researchers. He was a beast in the freezing temperatures. That's because, you know what, Daryl, I found out he always had a battery powered like blankets, and he had all the gear. So like he was never going cold out there. And even if he was, I mean, he was still just tough as nails. Okay.
Those guys were making fun of me. Yeah, not, like maybe a little bit out of envy, but when we were out there, it was way below freezing temps, and they were like, "How the hell are you doing that?" Like I was, they had like the face masks on and the hats and the gloves, and I was, as soon as we get out there, I'd take off my gloves and like put them away and take off my hat and and like I was like downgrading like immediately, and they were what? Like, how are you? And they, at first, I don't think they thought like I was going to sustain that long, with having my hands up, but I'm so used to it. Like, you get so used to it. And it's not necessarily like good for you. It's just muscle memory, like.
Yeah, it is. It is. And okay, Kyle says it makes me think of skateboard swamp. And that's right. Three-toed prints make me think of reptilians.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And this was following a frozen creek, and like I don't know. There's I don't know if I should say where it was, but whatever. That particular footprint was in Cuyahoga National Forest. There's a lot of shit going on in there. Like, and I didn't know. Like, I didn't know. I just went and I trust Jack, so I was like, yeah, I'll just follow your lead. Like wherever you say go, I go. Like, we'll it's your areas, the deal. I'm just here. Like, let me see what I see. And that place was a lot of fun. We barely got there. When we got there, it was barely. Should have been ahead of schedule more to be in the daylight, but it was already dark for the most part, and there was a lot of activity, but it was also very, 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 very quiet for where that place is, and what, like, it was just dead silent, which is really, really interesting. And then out there too, there was this upside down tree rammed in the ground, like, which I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I might have sent you that picture too. I don't know.
Let's see if we got it here. Oh yeah, I do have it. I think this is it.
Yep. So like that break right there's a tree coming across. It looks like that was broken off there, and then that was slammed upside down in the ground.
Interesting.
I know it's hard to make out in this, but I got a video coming out where this is in the video, so if you are interested in seeing it further.
We're definitely gonna have to check out all your videos too. And I saw you got a video coming up on is it Wednesday? You're gonna premiere that video?
I'll probably do,
or maybe Friday. I don't know when
it is. I think it is Wednesday, but I'll probably end up just dropping it. Like I get impatient and I'm like, whatever.
Well, we may just have to do it today. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Might just have to do it. Okay, I know everybody will tune in. Since it's fresh. And before we go further, I wanted to show a map of Ohio. And because the Grassman, maybe we should do a little rundown on what the Grassman is. Because you went out there, you have had encounters with Bigfoot before and Dogman and other cryptids.
Yeah.
You went out there specifically to go look for kind of like Bigfoot, right? This trip. But Ohio's known for Dogmen, big time.
The first night, we were definitely not tracking Bigfoot. But yeah, go ahead. Dive into what you were going to say.
Okay. Oh, no, I was just going to kind of go over, I mean, there's been a bunch of sightings of these things, okay? And I wanted to go over some stats of what these things are. There's also something known as the Ohio Sasquatch Triangle. I'm not sure who coined this term, but it's a thing. Okay, so they've got a little triangle there in the middle of Ohio. I'm wondering what the ratio is of Bigfoot sightings compared to Dogman sightings. I don't know. But there's been a lot of Grassman sightings over Ohio. Okay. So I guess the bigger the circle, the more sightings.
It's a bigger it's a bigger state actually. I was in like the northeast, I think.
Okay.
like the northeast corner,
Okay.
somewhere up there.
I think this picture is from Monster Quest, or it could have been Mountain Monsters. I don't know if it's Mountain Monsters or Monster Quest. I'm so sorry. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
for sure. But this is a
Monster
picture that
Quest did
they,
cover it.
I think it's Monster Quest. They did claim that they believe this is an actual photo of the Ohio Grassman. Just FYI. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it looks hairy. It looks like it has a hairy bit. To me, that looks like it could be a Dogman, too.
Yeah.
So my question was like, well, could the Grassman actually be a Dogman?
Yeah.
Some people say, some say it's no, it's definitely a Bigfoot. But we've also got this. This is a artist's drawing of what they think it looks like. Okay, it looks more primate-like.
Yeah.
But from a distance, it kind of looks like it could be a Dogman too. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying there's a fine line between Dogman and Bigfoot sometimes when it comes to drawing.
That looks very Yeren to me, like the Chinese Bigfoot.
It does. It does. It does. Well, this is what people claim they believe these things live in.
Yep.
Now, I want to say, I vaguely remember seeing this picture before, but I thought it was Jody Cook had showed this picture, and it was of a Dogman investigation. So I don't know. Maybe I'm confused. I know Kenny's in the chat today. Kenny Starfox. Maybe Kenny has some information on this. I probably should have asked him before the show today.
It all coincides because I was just in one of these areas that I call Nestopia, and it's these nest looking things, and they're naturally that way. These trees, they just like, there's so many of them, and then they just take them and they manipulate them a little bit to completely camouflage and hide under there. And I was literally touching one, and I'm trying to show everyone. I'm like, look at this shit. Like it's like thick netting. You know what I mean? And you could easily just, with no skill, no camo, no cloaking, just stand behind that and disappear. So yeah, it's really a perfect camouflage, especially in the winter. You know what I'm saying? And it's this stuff doesn't die off in the winter.
Well,
so when all the leaves fall off the trees, all that nesting stuff is still there.
Night Gazer and Justin say that it will definitely keep you warm at night. Okay, so yeah, something like that would be a great debris hut. Okay, and a debris hut is something that humans make too. So of course, oh gosh, I hate being the skeptic one. Okay, because but I have to be sometimes. You got to play devil's advocate to some of these things, because it could be, like I said, we go out and we've done all those back. I haven't done it in a while, but back in the day, we used to do, a lot of stuff out in the woods and learn how to do like survival debris huts and stuff. And to me, I'm just going to say personally, I think that looks like a debris hut that somebody made or an animal made. Okay.
Yeah, it could be, I've seen hunters make some insane blinds just to disappear themselves from deer. Do you think they tear them down after they leave the woods? No, they leave it right there. They don't. They make it amazing, but they don't take it down when they leave. It would be the same thing as a bushcraft survivalist, right? If they went out and they say they're just challenging themselves, right? Whatever the case may be, and they go out and they make a big ass wood structure. Do you think they take it down afterwards? No, hell no. They're gone. When it's time to go, they go, so you have to take those things into consideration. You have to, otherwise you just, you're not doing yourself a justice, right? Or anybody else.
Yes. Well, it's important to kind of just look into every aspect and every angle. And William Nighthawk is in the chat. What's up, William? He says, don't forget that Ohio is named after a biblical giant, Ohio.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
That's cool.
There's giant mounds with giants that have been found in them all over the country, all over North America. Also, I think there was an ancient Egyptian settlement found or there's like artifacts found in a cave in Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was Illinois or Ohio. I think it was Ohio.
There's a lot of history there. For
Viking,
sure.
like Viking artifacts and all sorts of stuff. Okay, so lots of rich history that we are supposed to be unaware of. Kind of, it's not taught in our history books.
You know, every state too has these signs like of, you know, as you drive around, they have like these signs and they're like they have historical facts on them. Some are blue, red, whatever. Like, but they're like, and it's really amazing when you drive around, you see these historical signs because you wouldn't really know that you wouldn't find out that history any other way. And I love getting lost and just finding, you know, ending up going through random ass towns or whatever the case may be, you know. But I always stop at those things and take pictures of them and like, you know, I lose track. I'm not an organizational person at all, but
Mike says it's a booger hooch. A booger hooch. I'm assuming you're talking about this right here. It's a booger hooch.
yeah.
Yes. It reminds me of the Chattahoochee.
Now keep in mind that
Hoochie.
that when those dogmen bum rushed me, that's what they were under, were those things. Like they were
Oh, really?
that's what they were in. And I'm trying to describe it in, you know, when I talk about it, when I'm trying to describe how they're in there and they're on all fours and the deer go through there, but you like I couldn't go through there. That's what I'm talking about. And it's just a network of those things. And like that's pretty much what it is.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, he's not advertising well for Ohio right there. Okay, but Southern Ohio sounds good. So I think it was Hans. I'm not sure. It was just said, made a comment a while ago about Ohio looking like Tennessee. I'm trying to think of the state. Ohio looking a lot like Tennessee. Tennessee is full of woods, deep woods. Okay, like very vegetative, lush forest out there. Is that what you experienced when I know it's winter time, so it's a little different, but is that kind of what you experienced?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did a Smoky Mountain tour too for a couple days, and went down to like the Tennessee North Carolina border, and that was interesting in itself. But that was like summery, summertime, springtime, whatever. But in Ohio, yeah, I would say in the winter this is what it is pretty much, unless you're in a pine tree area or whatever, you know, or a wooded area. There's some areas where obviously it's, you know, it's just woods, but it's very similar to here on Long Island. Like you have these areas where and that's where the Grassman term must come from. There's all these just big, like they look like giant nesting areas. Now, if you get up close to them, you could see like, all right, this is just a tree that, you know, whatever. But there's other spots where you can literally see something has tied. You know what I'm saying? Like they've gotten in there and woven and tied knots or different things, and that's a bug out to me when you get out there and you see like in the middle of nowhere where nobody's been that something has, you know, has tied knots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to make tripwires or whatever the case may be.
Do you think Bigfoots are tripwiring things, trying to booby trap for us?
I call it the doorbell. Like, I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's like a warning system. You know how we would around camp, you would tie like a fishing line with cans on it to hear a bear come into camp. That's my take on it. I don't think it's like to trip you or to trap you. I think that's what it is. It's like it's an early alarm system to like, oh, something's coming in, you know, something's coming towards us.
Yeah. We always put, okay, when I'm going out with the CW operators and survival team, we always put tripwire up around our camp. Out, especially out in the middle. I mean, we're always out in the middle of nowhere, but like that Dogman hunt we went on back in Alabama a few months ago, the whole entire camp was surrounded. We did put tripwire up with some devices. Okay, so anything that would come into the camp. Of course, there was always at least one person awake the entire time. Like we never, we couldn't get caught slipping in that situation.
Yeah, in those cases, it's good to have those bang sticks where like they have ones that have like blanks. That you could use like blanks or different things that sound like almost like a shotgun shot, right? So like if something hits it hard enough, it'll pull this. and it goes bang, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be that advanced or that expensive. There's different ways to do it, but
Yeah.
you know.
Justin has a good question here, and I know this is about 10 minutes ago. I'm going back and forth between like, previous comments and like the new ones. Okay, I've got a couple devices running today. Justin, that's a good point, because the reptilians, they probably would, if it was like a reptilian being, it probably would not be walking in the snow, right? Because I don't think, at least.
I don't know because to me, I think about reptilian. I think about them being like when I never seen one, right? Necessarily. I was told what I saw was a reptilian, but I don't know. I can't say for sure. But anyway, the couple times that I might have had an encounter with them, because it was raining. It was pouring rain. So I was thinking maybe that's why, because they're out because it's raining and they need water, right? I don't know. I'm thinking reptiles and water, right? But I don't know. And then so I was thinking maybe they follow creeks because it's water. But I don't know. I don't know anything about them, so I can't really,
Maybe they were looking for some warm bodies like you guys out there. I'm just saying, some warm humans to eat with their fava beans and a nice Chianti. I'm just kidding. I know, I'm kidding. You gotta kind of make. I know, right? You gotta kind of keep a light heart about all this stuff, because we are talking about reptilians and Bigfoots and stuff, and it's fun. We do go chasing these things around, but still, we gotta have fun. Why not?
Oh, look at this New York blood. This guy brought some marinara.
Right? Oh yeah, the Italian. You got this. Yes, I get it. So, okay. William had brought up the giants. Okay, Ohio being named after a biblical giant. Well, New York has giants too. Okay, and that you got the football team, the New York Giants, right out there. So San Francisco Giants, New York Giants. I don't know. Is that still a team there? It is, right?
Yeah. I mean, Bigfoot Anon used to rattle off all the names of everything everywhere, and like it's mind blowing to me, because there's so many. Even teams that are named after these, giants and cryptids and different things, I never noticed, like the Seattle Supersonics, they had, even their mascot was like a Sasquatch. They're not a team anymore, but I believe they were like a horned Sasquatch or something to that effect.
Yeah. That would be like a Yeti maybe or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Sheep squat. I don't know.
Yeah. Han says, speaking of reptilians, I may be wrong, but I thought Ohio had a lot of caves too. And I do think they do have caves. As a matter of fact, let's look at our cave map here. I do have the map. I think I kept this on here the other night, because we were showing the missing persons map from, this is back in like 2012 or so, with David Politis's research that he did with his Missing 411 series, and then the map of the cave systems in the United States. And this is a comparison map here. Ohio is directly north of, well, it's not directly north, but it's kind of like, it's right underneath like the Great Lakes a little bit, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
It looks like it has a lot of, it has some caves there. Yeah, there's some caves there. There's definitely caves in Ohio. Okay.
Well, going back to safety, like one of the areas I wanted to do with them was a cave. There's a place they call the caves. They don't say where it is, but they call it the caves, and it's this whole cave system and whatever. And back to safety, the weather, I wouldn't go there. I was like, let's just skip that for now, because I don't want to go in there with the snow and not be able to see our footing. You know what I mean? Safety first. And even when I go in the Catskills, there's just going off trail a little bit, you find these places that are just like, wow, like, all right, there's a cave over here. There's a whole cavern in this area. There's a place called the Secret Cavern. I think that's what it's called. It's next to Howe Caverns and Howe Caves, whatever. And there are these places that you can go visit. For whatever reason, Howe Caverns was closed, so I went to the Secret Caves. And you go down there, and the first thing they tell you is how this place came to be found. the farmer was looking for his cows on his land. They were gone. So he went out to look for them. Those cows fell through the ground and ended up in this cave. Then this old man decided to dig it out for like 100, whatever. His whole life, he dug through these caves and exposed this whole thing. There's literally an underground waterfall at one side. It's the most beautiful, coolest shit you'll ever see. Cold all the time, but I think it's amazing. Yeah.
It is. Oh my gosh.
There's so
Imagine
much
with
stuff.
your pets and they all be like, they've fallen into like some kind of underground cavern. That is, how in the heck would you get your cows out of there? I guess a lift?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Poor
remember the
cows.
whole story. But yeah, it was amazing. And then the guy turned it over too. He gave it, he wanted people to be able to see how cool this place was, so he turned it over. Really amazing.
That's amazing. Okay. Riley Ron says, who gives us more chance to survive, the Ohio Grassman, the Nantinaq, or Dogman? A chance to survive. The Nantinaq is actually a killer Bigfoot out of Alaska, I think. Okay. I think it's out of that was the Portlock Bigfoots, I think. Those will eat you. Dogman might eat you. And the Ohio Grassman, I don't know. I think I would rather come face to face with the Ohio Grassman. Maybe a dog man, actually. I don't know. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, you have to consider location, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Like what I deal with here is I call them suburban Sasquatch. Their tolerance of us is through the roof compared to one you're going to find in Alaska. You bump into one in Alaska, you're in his house, period. There's no overlapping, like, oh yeah, I see humans, and this, you're just like, you're gonna just probably be someone that he just wants to take off the earth. That's my opinion anyway.
It depends on the location. Okay. And let me give you some characteristics of the Ohio Grassman, because some say that it is the most aggressive Bigfoot species that there is. Now, the height ranges from 5 to 10 feet tall. I'm assuming the 5 foot tall ones will be juveniles, but generally they're about 7 to 9 feet tall. Their footprints range about, they're usually about, they say 10 to 20 inches. So 10 would be a juvenile, I would assume. And some appear to have claws, pigeon toes, or flat feet, and some prints are 3-toed, like the print that you showed us. This one right here. Okay, so that's a really interesting print that you guys found out there. They're around anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 pounds usually. And some reports say it growls, it barks, an unusually heavy breath. Okay, when I read that it barks, I thought, man, that could be a dogman. Okay.
Good, yeah.
If they're barking.
See, like I've found that they mimic things that we're used to hearing, you know what I mean, to keep us from tuning in. Anything ranging from a motorcycle revving to a dog barking to whatever, right? Now, it's weird that you just touched on this, because I've never had anything hiss at me in my life, and something in that place where that footprint is, later in that night, something hissed at me 3 times, and it was like, it was here, and then it was probably like 5 yards away, and it hissed again about 5 seconds later, and then again, never made a sound besides the hissing. I'm flashing a huge, I had my big floodlight, like, shining up there. Whatever it was close to me. So it was either something super stealthy, like it had to have been either a bobcat or something completely invisible. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, but it didn't make a damn sound besides the hissing.
Oh, the hissing. Okay, well, hey, Caleb Jade, thank you so much for being here again. He says the Nakash reptilian hybrids are warm-blooded. And that's not good news for us researchers out in the field, because that could mean that it could be walking around in the cold weather. Okay, and it could explain some 3-toed prints. I'm just saying. And if it hisses, I just think that there could be, and this is what I'm just assuming, there could be some, when it comes to the Grassman, there could be some misidentification going on. Maybe some people see, because there's a lot of Dogman sightings in Ohio. What if there are misidentifications of like Dogmen being thought of as Grassmen? Or what if the Dogmen are the Grassmen?
Well, what Bigfoot researcher, boots on the ground, do you know that doesn't start off with Bigfoot and then it tapers off into all these other things because of that fact? You start out with this thing that you know about, right? Or maybe you had a sighting, or maybe people you know talk about, whatever the case is. But then as soon as you start digging in, you're like, there's so much shit going on here. And excuse my language, sorry. But like, I don't know how else to put it, because that's what happens. Is even myself, I look back and I'm like, I think I probably misidentified something. Like, I think what I was saying maybe was more, you know, I lean towards that because I knew about it as far as the title goes. But when I think about what I was describing, it was something different.
Yeah, it's not everything. When you're out there looking for Bigfoot, not everything's going to be Bigfoot. That's the thing that I've learned and what I was taught, actually. So, okay, let's go back to a couple more characteristics of what the Grassman is said to be. Because I mentioned they growl, they bark, they have unusual heavy breath, but it sounds like the cry of a baby or the scream of a woman. Now that could be a big cat too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fisher cats they're not even that big, and they make some crazy sounds.
And they stink. Okay, almost like just any Bigfoot can stink. Has a strong odor, like the odor of rot that lingers in the area for days, even after they leave. And here's how it's described as looking: a snub nose, peaked or deep set eyes, a large chest, blackish brown in color, long arms, pointed and bulky head, very much like a Bigfoot, no neck, big, huge shoulders, black, gray, or brown hair. They say its hair is smooth, but it's also shaggy. And it covers pretty much everything except for the palm of its hands. And it has luminous red or orange eyes. Yeah. Man, we talked about those glowing red eyes. Some people think that glowing red eyes means they're demonic. Okay. I don't necessarily believe that.
No, I mean, we always look for something to relate things to. You know what I mean? It's human nature to do that. I still do it. When I'm trying to explain things, I look for metaphors or things like that. Like, what's the other word? Similes? I don't know. Anyway, so
yeah, similarities. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, like you see glowing red eyes and at night, and it's scary, and that's you heard a demonic story about something similar. It's just what people products of their environment, I suppose, right? Well, that's what we are until we break that mold. So
yeah. Well, yeah, that's right.
I agree, though. I don't think it's necessarily demonic, but I wouldn't say it's completely off the table. Maybe there is something demonic out there. If we only see eyes, that's it, and we don't know anything else, then it's subject to interpretation.
Mm-hmm. Correct. I agree with that. Yeah, some people claim that it looks like a gorilla, but it stands more upright, and sometimes it's hard to tell what it is because it has long, shaggy hair over its face, according to some of the reports. And I will show again a couple of these pictures. This is something that was believed to have been the Grassman, but I feel like I've seen this picture before, and it might have been on a Dogman website or something. Some people think this is a Dogman. Okay, so like I said, I just feel like I've seen these pictures before, and it might have been with the North American Dogman Project. I don't know. I think that it could go either way. Okay. When it comes to the Grassman or the Dogman, personally.
But why wouldn't they use the same methods, right? I mean, look at Native Americans, like that. Like I say, like where'd they get the teepees from, and this, and you know what I mean? It's all where'd they get the ideas to use everything from the deer, and then do this and that and the other thing, and if you look into it, it's like there's some of the teachings they found are from wild man, you know.
Hmm. That's true. And we had just had a question in here, and it was, how long do I just had it up on the screen? I'm so sorry. I forgot who just asked that. It said, how long does Sasquatch live? And I don't think any of us really know. I'm not
No.
sure. Probably way longer than we do. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I don't know. Caleb might know. Caleb might know. He says it's for entertainment purposes only. Yes, I do need to be reminded to say that throughout our shows. Thank you.
That's so sad that we have to do that, but
It's for educational purposes only and entertainment. It's really for entertainment. Okay.
Right.
We're not saying any of this is real ever. Okay. Now, these grassmen are reported to be very aggressive and unimaginably strong, of course, according to the eyewitnesses, but they have a capacity for peace and higher level intelligence too. Now, when you went into this investigation that you guys did,
Mhm.
what were you expecting? Did you have any expectations? Had you been warned? I mean, the cameraman, those guys, this is their territory. So like they know what's going on out there. What were you warned about? What were you expecting?
I wouldn't say I was necessarily warned about anything. I mean, Jack and I both have like a lot of time with our boots on the ground. I hate to say the term over and over again, but we do. We have a lot of time like that. So I mean, other than really just a couple of, like, maybe like, hey, watch out for, like, this kind of terrain or this or that. Um, we really had a lot of trust in one another, and we kind of just were able to like vibe off each other and feel each other out. If there was anything we had, even if we spread out and we had like a question or like, hey, was that you? Was that this? But we had walkie talkies and kept in contact that way. But for the most part, it was pretty cool. Like they have a tree over there, for instance, that's I still have these stab marks in my hand that hurt, and it's like a cactus. I don't know, but it looks like a regular tree, but it has these giant thorns on it that are like this long, and at least an inch or two, and it's like a cactus, but it's very spread out. And I was climbing up out of the creek, out of this, trying to climb this like ridge out of the creek, and I put my hand up to grab this tree, and boom. So I mean, yeah,
Ouch.
yeah. Now, if we were to go to the caves, I'm sure he would have briefed me on some things, like, hey, like, watch your footing and watch this and that. But yeah, as far as the investigations went and stuff, I think we're just like listening to each other and learning from one another and seeing how we view the areas and stuff like that.
Amazing. That's awesome. Okay. And Riley Ron has an interesting question. I think this is probably stemming a little bit from that red eye discussion we just had with the demonic stuff. But because I'm kind of seeing it here. Okay, I'm feeling it. What are your thoughts on Bigfoot talking telepathically? Is it possible? And if yes, how can they be sure it's
Mm,
a Bigfoot, not some other type of entity disguised as a Bigfoot?
yeah.
That's a good question. What do you think, Mike?
I've personally had telepathy happen from Sasquatch. It's that can be a very tricky thing with how do you know it's them and not something else. I don't necessarily know how to give an answer, except I just know. And that sounds kind of corny probably, but I do. I just know when it's them. Now, if you have these doubts, and I always warn people when they go out in general, if you have doubts, if you're having a bad day, if you're in a foul mood, if you can't really get in the right place of mind and heart and spirit, don't go out there, because these other things will feed on that negativity. They will come and feed on your darkness and your moment of weakness and whatever the case may be. And if you're looking for Bigfoot, there are things that will even pose as a Bigfoot to get near you, and that's a very, 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 very good possibility. But
Yeah.
yeah, like, so it's always good to be cautious, but you it's there's this fine line between cocky and cautious that you got to find.
That's right. And yes, okay. And I wanted to mention this one thing, because when you're talking about that, it reminded me of the show I did on Saturday. We were talking about the invisibility cloaking technology suits that are available worldwide. I know China has developed them. I'm sure everybody's got them. They probably had them for decades. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's just what we're told. You're a military vet as well. I don't know if you ever had any contact with invisibility cloaking technology, but people talk about Glimmer Man. And I've seen something that was like a Glimmer Man in my past. It was over a decade ago when that happened. Over a decade. And it looked like, the only way I could describe it was a disturbance in the atmosphere, because it was almost like a liquid form of a human, but it wasn't really a human. I couldn't tell what it was. And
the one
and so
I,
that's,
the,
go ahead.
yeah, sorry. The one I saw it 2 days in a row, and it was maybe a foot to 2 feet tall. And I think I named the video like T-1000 because it reminded me of Terminator, that liquid Terminator guy. More so than it did the Predator. You know what I mean? Because like you said, it was like a liquidy almost. And it was weird. I didn't even notice it the first time. The guy I was with, Rob, he saw it, and I was like, I looked back on the video and you could clearly see this thing hauling ass. So I'm like, I wish I saw it in person. So I went back there the next day and literally saw the same thing happen. So yeah, it was going a different direction, but whatever. I was on the lookout for it, right? Like doing my bolo technique, but be on the lookout for it. But yeah, as far as the invisibility cloaks, I've seen a lot of shit, you know, especially overseas in Afghanistan. I ain't never seen no invisibility cloaks. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, well, I think where I was going with that was that I showed some examples of, and I forgot to put the videos in the description, and I will do that after this show. I promise. I got really sick after that show.
No, you put it. I think you put it in the chat. You put it in the chat because I clicked it. There were. Yeah.
Okay. There's more though. I might put some more in there under the video, but there's examples of this cloaking technology that has been put over tanks, for instance, that changes the entire lookout of what these things look like through like FLIRs and thermals, whatever they're being looked at through. When they turn the technology on, it can become a tank. A gigantic tank can look like a motorcycle or a little vehicle or anything else. There's no telling that what kind of technology we have to this day to where, and I'm not saying it's, they're using it for, this is wild. I know I like to think outside the box, and I like to push my boundaries. Okay. What if there are people wearing these suits out there that can change what they look like into like a Bigfoot or something to trick people like us? Oh man, isn't that crazy? I can't believe I even said that out loud, but it's the truth. Why not? We got to think like this too.
You do.
It's weird.
You do.
Okay. I know I sound crazy sometimes, but I mean,
no, but
I might sound crazy today, and it might come true, and next year, who knows? So,
I know what you mean. No, I know what you mean. Because I mean, like, I've had drones and Black Hawk helicopters follow me forever, and every time I go out or I come home, they're there, right? So like, I've never had that happen before I started doing this stuff. I don't talk about it all the time because it right away it reminds me of like the scene from Goodfellas when he comes in talking about the helicopter and they're like, "You want to see helicopters?" And like, they're like, "You crazy bastard," you know what I mean? Like, gives them cocaine or whatever. I don't know if we're allowed to say that word.
Too late. Just kidding. Let's see. Night Gazer was wondering about what happens when the Bigfoots pass away. Do the bodies phase back to their original dimension? Do they need to focus on staying in ours? Is the government collecting them to hide them? What's going on? What do you think, Mike?
Oh man, that's deep. That's deep.
It is.
Man. Yeah, I might have to. We might have to come back to that another time. I could go on for a long time about different things with this.
Well, I know a good a good reference would be, I did a show with Carter Bouchard a while back, and I think he came on my channel. Okay. And I need to bring him back on because we talked about Bigfoot burials on that one. And that was a really interesting show. So maybe one of my mods, you can find that episode and put it in the chat, or I'll put it in it. And I always forget it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll try to remember to put that link in the description box after the show today. Okay. But it was a great show, and we get into a really good discussion on Bigfoot burials on that show. He's done extensive research. He's written books. You guys check out Carter Bouchard's books. You can find them on his website, okay, and probably on Amazon as well. But that's a good question though, for sure. And okay, something. Oops. Fingers hit buttons by accident. Okay, so something that I found really interesting too is when I was researching the Ohio Grassman, this is a description that really caught my attention. Let's see if I can find it. Behavior, motion. Here it is. Unlike usual humans, sorry. Some say it walks like a robot or machinery. Okay, it can throw large rocks. It can break tree limbs. Why would yeah, that's weird to me.
Not to me, because the way I describe Bigfoot walking is an elliptical. Remember that machine? Or they still have them, but I don't think they call them ellipticals. But you push your arms like this, and your feet like go. It's almost like you're on skis.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You put your feet in that thing, but that's what it reminds me of, the way they move. It's not like they're walking. It's just like they're like in this like almost like just and they're just floating almost. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I walk through the woods, like I'm like, oh shit, you know, like going around stuff, like ooh, you know what I mean? Oh, like I gotta go up this, I gotta like, how do they just cruise through that like it's nothing? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe that's what they mean by like a machine. Like maybe they just move through it like effortlessly.
Yes. Or like a current president walking to the helicopter.
Which one? The guy falling up the steps?
I'm not making fun. I'm just saying. I swear that he's a robot sometimes. I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
He looks like a robot. Okay, if they do like a side by side of him and a robot, it's like that's a robot. Okay.
His meat suit's broken.
Meat suit. Yes. So, but that's what I think of. I don't mean to laugh, y'all, but it is kind of funny. Sorry, not sorry on that one. Yes, someone was asking about the South Carolina Bigfoot. We covered that on my show Saturday night. So go back and watch that episode Saturday night with author E.D. Chesterman. We talked about the Glimmer Man, and we talked all about that. We even showed the video on that show. I don't think we came up with like a wonderful conclusion as to what it was, because I was convinced the first time I watched that it was owls, but it doesn't explain why those tree limbs broke. Okay, and Eric seems to think it could have been a Bigfoot. So did you see that video, Mike?
I don't know if I got to that point. I remember you showing the tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
I've never seen it on my own, no. But you know my method. Like I try not to research things because I don't like to have too much stuff sway me. At this point, it's really hard because I've seen so much and talked to so many people. But I still try not to like be swayed in any direction, even my own, because I want to, you know what I mean? I try to go out as a blank slate every single time. Yeah. So that I could just take in whatever's given to me. You know what I mean? I don't have any preconceived ideas or notions or expectations.
Yes, I understand. I totally get that. Lee Jennifer says, say an archangel prayer when Bigfoots or spirits start making you physically or mentally sick. And yes, we've talked about that before too, about saying a prayer, even invoking the name of Jesus Christ. You know, if you're having an abduction encounter, we had Alan Thomas on the show a couple weeks ago with Squatch Zone, and he talked about that. That was an incredible show, by the way. So you guys go back and check that out. And yes, even when you're feeling sick or under spiritual attack, energetic attack, it's good to say a prayer like that too. And yes, I was feeling I was looking a little green firewater on Saturday night. I think I was looking. It's all that.
My advice is to have something prepared, always have something recited. I say, and have something in your back pocket. Now, what I mean by that is like when shit goes left like that, like when you're in a bad situation where those things happen, chances are you're going to be in such a state of fear and shock and disarray that you want to have something that you don't have to think about or like try to dig and find something. Just have something. It doesn't have to be long or in depth, whatever. It could be something powerful and repetitive. Whatever that means to you. It doesn't have to be the same for everyone.
Yes. Good answer. Garrel's in the chat. What's up, Garrel? Thanks for being here. How do we know if an entity is mind projecting, making you see Bigfoot or Dogman?
Yeah.
Good question. We don't.
Yeah, it's tough.
Really. I don't know, with all this holographic technology, invisibility technology, cryptids, there's such a strange, wild mix of everything going on right now. It's hard to know. I mean, I guess if it got right up in your face, you'd know. I guess that's a good way to know. If it's breathing down your throat, you'd know. Breathing down your face. I guess that's a weird term. Breathing down your throat. but yeah, I guess you don't know until it's right up on you. But it's just like with the alien stuff, like I've had at least 2 or 3 times definitely 2 times where I remember waking up with ETs in my bedroom, and I think back on that, and I remember having like ghost experiences too, where I had deceased people standing over my bed, and I think that those were ETs back then. It's just a projection of whatever I was ready to look at.
Yeah, but I've seen you do it too, where you had no knowledge of the area. We were near Council Rock, and we were standing on some native ground, and you had no idea where we were. You didn't know anything about it, and all of a sudden you were like, "I'm getting these, and like these vibes and these like thoughts or whatever visions," and like you started saying things, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like what? Like how? Like there's no way you could know that stuff." Like, you know what I mean? It was almost like you were just spitting off the history of the area and so many different aspects of it that you wouldn't really know about. Even like something you mentioned about the building nearby. You were like, I get a, and it was almost like it was just feeding through you, like the information, like from through your feet right to to your brain or whatever you want to say.
Oh, well, thank you. That's true. I was definitely picking up on stuff. It was that Montauk Manor. It felt like a Illuminati cave tunnel system kidnapping here.
That's what I'm saying. How would you know? Like
to that place.
Yeah. We're still trying to get into the basement of that place to check it out, and getting closer and closer. There's a lot of things that we're working on that people don't necessarily know about, that we can't necessarily talk about, but it was weird. It was wild to me. Not weird. I was just like, holy crap. When you said certain things, I was like, wow. Like, I knew you were intuitive right then and there for sure.
Well, thank you. And we had James Rink with us too, a Super Soldier Talk. And James, I just felt like we were about to get kidnapped that night. I knew we were going down, and I did not have a firearm on me, and I was like, oh my God. Something
I wouldn't
felt
have let you. Yeah, I wouldn't have let you guys go out there alone. That's for sure.
No, I had my guns. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's why I say humans are the scariest thing out there, because that's the reality of it.
They are. Caleb says reptilian hunters. We hunted them. Interesting, Caleb. We hunted them in Peru. Yeah, we hear about lots of was that in Peru where they had the face-eating aliens too recently? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of aliens, reptilians, and stuff like that. So thank you for that information. And I want to go back to this Pyromedic. Hey, Pyromedic, what's up? Says there was a video about a year ago that was on YouTube for a few hours that was very similar to the new one out there. But it had a Glimmer Man jumping out of a tree, taken down quickly. And I've seen those too. There's another one of that. It was like something that jumped. It slid down a tree. I think it was supposed to be in Asia somewhere. I think.
Somebody sent me a video.
Slid down.
Somebody sent me a video from Kentucky of what they thought was Glimmer Man, and it was pretty crazy. But I don't know what to make of it. Well, I think they said it looks like the Predator, but yeah, the same concept.
Yes, welcome to the gun show, everybody. You're gonna get.
Somebody's gotta have them.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's out there. I think right now, personally, I think it's humans in suits. I think it's all humans in suits, but that's just me. Maybe not every case, but it is. They're really blurring the lines now in my mind of like what's paranormal and what's not. I mean, even Dr. Dennis Carroll has been on the show. He's talked about how he was even contacted. And shout out Dennis. I did not realize Dennis is having back problems. So I hope that Dennis is, if you're watching, I hope you're feeling better, Dennis. And I'm sending lots of prayers your way. But Dennis talked about how he was contacted by, let's just say, government officials about paranormal stuff. He talked about how they examine and study like exorcisms, and they actually have in a warehouse somewhere the furniture from that exorcism house. Like, what was that movie about the supposed to be like Linda Blair? What was that called? Where her head spun around?
Oh, shit.
The Exorcism. I forgot whatever that movie is.
Emily Rose, maybe? I don't.
No.
There's
the first
so many of them. I don't know.
Somebody in the chat will know. Somebody will put it up in the chat in a second. But
it's called The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. I guess that is it. The Exorcist. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Maureen. And Mike. Thank y'all. They have that furniture in a warehouse somewhere, studying it.
Yeah, like the Ed and Lorraine Warren have like a museum with a bunch of stuff, and they do certain things with it, right? Like you'd imagine, but they're doing like for good things there. Like they cleanse that room every day. They don't do certain things with it, but of course you're gonna have the flip side where there's gonna be people and organizations and governments that take those items and try to, manipulate them and use them for different things, and it's just the nature of the beast. You got to be prepared for it all.
Well, they're weaponizing it, probably.
Yeah.
It's all weaponized. Everything. So they're weaponizing demons. I mean, that's basically what it sounds like. If that stuff is demonic and it's been possessed by something, then they're studying that, maybe how to weaponize it and use it against enemies. Or their own people. I don't know. Just saying. Now, William says special access programs for black budget ops are the reason why we have all the tech gadgets today, but they are already outdated. 100%. 100%. They're only showing us too whatever they had probably 50 years ago.
Yeah, like your Area 51s and your Plum Islands and your Camp Heroes. Those are places where they're weaponizing things that are out of our our immediate knowledge, and they're trying to weaponize things, and whether it's an animal, a spacecraft, or a human being to travel in time and space, and or telekinesis, or whatever the case may be, right? But I challenge people to look around like your immediate areas, because those are the ones we know about. It doesn't mean there's more, you know what I mean? And there's more, and they're right in our face. It's just it's kind of amazing to me how we tend to just overlook so many things like it's not a big deal. Like Long Island has 3 of them that are just in the wide open, and nobody just seems to care.
Wow. Very interesting. Very interesting there. Okay, I was just thinking, I wanted to ask you a couple more things about your adventures too over there. I mean, because we're going down a couple of different rabbit holes, but it's all so connected. Everything's connected from and Matt's in here too. What's up, Matt? It's so good to see you. It says they've weaponized magic rituals in the occult since World War II. We employed every German scientist, oligarch we could find that helped them research and study everything from that time. Wow. Yes. It's a very deep rabbit hole, and I think we've touched on it on so many different shows, from the Vril. Okay, the shows I've done on the Vril. I see I just got a text from John Vanderventure, you guys. John is still in the hospital, so let's all please lift him up in prayer. He and I have talked about the Vril. We've talked about what's going on in Antarctica. Okay, the Antarctica, the Schmatzi German bases they have down there. Yeah,
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Schmatzis. Yes, and so yeah, we've talked about a lot of that. Well, you can't say certain words on this platform.
I'm not so good at it, but you are apparently. So that was good.
I've gotten used to doing it, so it's kind of like I have to. I try to play by the rules when I can. I think outside the box, but I try to play by the rules.
I get it.
At the same time, because we've got to get the information out. I don't want anything to happen.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right to do that because you will get snubbed. And I mean, I'm living testament to that. Like you go against the grain, you'll get snubbed. Like they will. So you're better off. You're better off just saying what they want you to say and getting it out.
Right. Well, we can make fun too, right?
Absolutely.
Because they're stupid rules, so we gotta play their game. All right. Caleb, we've got the technology from the reptilian hunters we captured or unalived. Whoa. Wow. Wait, from the reptilian hunters. So there's different factions of like reptilian hunters. This is exciting. Caleb, I wish you'd come on the show and we could talk about reptilian hunting. That would be amazing.
Seriously. I mean,
I'm all down for that. I am so down for that. I just got giddy.
I know. It's a whole new avenue.
It is. Well, okay. Well, I've been sent. There's actually a video that's been going around. Not recently, but this past year, there was a video that was sent to me, and it's been going around Instagram, TikTok, and it's of a person filming their backyard. And you can see a fence, and you can see some shrubbery, and you can hear this thing. It sounds like the Predator. Okay, it's like a like that. I can't make the noise. I'll sound ridiculous if I try to make that sound. It's like and it sounds like something that would be a reptilian. Well, I was sent that by someone who is very well versed in all of this stuff and said, this is a reptilian. If you hear this, unalive it. No, they said unalive it. That's what they told me. Like, if you see this, if you ever hear this, you get ready to take it out if you can.
So here's my understanding, right? Like, so when I first started, I was communicating with people all over the place, mostly New Zealand and Australia, and I was told that basically these reptilians, this was the info I got, right? And they kind of feed off each other, right? The weak ones get done in, they get eaten and unalived and whatever the case may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them kind of break off and get away, but they're still not really necessarily strong enough to become whatever, like, a president or whatever you want to call it, right? Like whatever they're destined to do. So some of these ones break off and then they're just out there with us kind of in the woods or wherever the case may be. And so I don't think they're necessarily like super strong, you know what I mean? Like but I'm not saying they're weak, but yeah, I'd say you probably could unalive one. I wouldn't suggest unaliving a Bigfoot, but maybe these reptilians, if you do come across one, maybe put up a fight. But
they're not all bad, I'm sure. I've heard they're not all bad, but there are ones that will eat you. Okay, ones that will eat you, and they do go on the hunt for tasty morsels like yourself, your Italian self.
Yeah. I mean, if I see a velociraptor with a human-looking head, I'm getting out of there.
Okay, so I actually heard that out in the woods one day. Okay, I was just taking a hike. I was out there with my team, but I was like, we were not like straight up researching at the moment. Everybody was just kind of getting there. and I was walking down it was a road. It wasn't even like a trail. It was just like a road. Went on a little nature hike. I
Don't
was just
matter.
there. Yeah, we were just right outside of base camp, and I had my son. My son was with me, so we were just going to go take a little nature hike down a road, and we heard that noise. We heard that noise. It sounded what I thought a velociraptor would sound like, and I stopped. My son stopped, and I looked over at my kid, and he was already back at base camp. He had already taken off running. And I was standing there I didn't freeze in fear. I just kind of stopped and listened to figure out where the sound was coming from, because it resonated from all around me. But it was over to my right, but it sounded like it was also coming from my left, but it was only one noise. It was like, I can't make that noise.
I know. You ever seen that bird?
It sounds like a predator.
Yeah, there's a bird that does it. I forget what it's called. I don't know if it's called the patu bird or whatever, but it has this. It's like this bird stands about like 5 feet tall, and it has this huge beak like out here, and it clacks its beak together, and it does that, and it's the craziest sound ever. So I kind of wonder how they make that noise. You know what I mean? Is it something like that bird is doing, or is it something they're doing with that, like, that ball in your throat, or what? Where's the sound coming from? It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It was too close to base camp for my comfort though, too. And so we had an extra eye out while we were out there, and it was a little creepy. It was a little creepy. I'd never heard that sound out there before. Susan, hey Susan, she has a question. How many reptilian human hybrids are there? Probably a lot. Well, we hear about the royal bloodlines are reptilian, blue bloods, right? They have some kind of like Draco bloodline. I don't
There's
know.
too many. I'd say there's more than we can ever imagine or we'll ever know about.
Just look at the pupils. Okay, just pay attention to the eyes.
But how many times do you see these people come into the hospital and then they open them up or whatever for surgery, and they have like extra lungs or not as many organs as we're supposed to have, or more organs than we have, and like it's like, you know what I mean? But like you said, the giveaway is in the eye.
They switched like pupils, or they like their eyes closed sideways, or I've encountered one person that had slit eyes, like real slit pupils, and she was a cook at a local restaurant in town. And I was advised, I was like, somebody told me, I was talking about it one day, and my friend was like, I might not eat there if I were you. And I was like, well, that's kind of mean. It's kind of mean, But I'm like, I'm trying to think, like, what eye condition would make you have a slit pupil?
Well, even cats don't really have like if you look at cats don't even have that slit, except for domestics. Really, I don't even think the like big cats. I don't think they even have the slit eye. I think it's only domestics. If I might be wrong. I might be wrong. But I think it's something that I don't know, whatever. We won't go down that rabbit hole, but I'm pretty sure it's like a human engineered thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that video. I had a video that I found where somebody was explaining the cats having slit eyes, the small domesticated cats, saying that they could have been mixed, like a chimera between a cat and a snake, because of their tail and everything. I don't know. It's just really crazy. It's really crazy. The shoebill stork. Thank you, Night Gazer. And
nice.
Firewater and Alea. Everybody, you guys are awesome. And Maureen, thank you for putting all these links in here. You are on it today, girl. Thank you so much for all your help. All my mods too, by the way. Y'all are really helping out big time today, and I appreciate it.
Charles from Catskill Bigfoot talks about habituation all the time. Right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's got that habituation. So he lives there around in the middle of a whole bunch of families of Bigfoots up there in the Catskills.
I've been to it. Yeah, I've been to his house, and they're there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt.
Man. This is wild. Okay, Marty says that she saw a guy that had split pupils. He was covered in tattoos. He wouldn't look at me in the eye.
Oh,
That's really wild. The lady that I met is very. I didn't really meet her, but I mean, she made good food. Okay, just I just don't know. I think that it's worth looking into though. Maybe I need to look into like what would cause a human to have slit pupils.
yeah.
It's either a genetic anomaly or they're reptilians. That's all. That's all. So, yes, that's what I said it and I meant it. Okay.
You notice now when you Google something, the first thing that pops up at the top is called AI overview, which is just wild to me.
Yeah.
And everywhere you look now. So I'd be curious. I'm curious to see what they'd say. You might get some truth out of this damn thing for a while.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. Now that I've said this, now I'm going to have a Wikipedia thing underneath my video. Again, I don't even talk about reptilians, and I get a Wikipedia thing that says something about reptilians on it now. Almost every video I do.
Yeah.
So here we go. We're getting another one today. Just wait. I'm going to say I told you so when y'all go look at my video later. Okay. But we're just having fun talking about weird stuff that could eat us. Today
for entertainment purposes.
For entertainment purposes only. 100%. We're out here chasing these things down. And you were recently chasing the most aggressive Bigfoot. Now, I think the Alaska Bigfoots are going to be the most aggressive.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But down in the lower 48, they say that this is the most aggressive Bigfoot, the Ohio Grassman. Did this thing really eat grass? What do you think?
I think it eats wheat. Like there's a lot of like wheat and things like that. Just like the Yeren or the anything you would find in Asia, like they're seen to be eating like wheat and rice patties and things like that. They're just gonna kind of go for what they can for the most part. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like what creature is not opportunistic, right?
Right. Well, I wanted to go through, before we go today, I would like to go over the sightings that people have had of the Ohio Grassman. And let me pull up a picture here while we're talking about it. Let me take the comment down. And then I'm gonna show this picture now. I feel like I've seen a clearer picture of this and it looks like a Dogman, but we're gonna pull this picture up. This was on actually here, let's just pull this up. Let's pull this picture right here up. This is what they say it looks like. Okay, so this was actually seen. Okay, these sightings go back to the 1800s. Okay, the 1800s, but these are the most recent sightings. Okay, the 1980s. Okay, it said that over 36 sightings were reported in Salt Fork State Park in Ohio. The park even hosts an annual Bigfoot conference. Notable locations include Morgan's Knob, Parker Road, and Bigfoot Ridge. They have a place in the park called Bigfoot Ridge. All right, in 1978, a Caton family, the Caton family reported multiple sightings of a large hairy creature in their backyard. The children and friends described the creature as being about 7 feet tall and 300 pounds. That's Evelyn and Hal Caton.
Yeah.
In January of 2020, 2 men reported seeing a Bigfoot-like creature walking in Salt Fork State Park. They described it as being hairy, upright, walking, and ape-like. And in the 1980s, Don Keating, a local resident, had collected numerous reports of Grassman sightings. He's compiled the reports and hosts the annual Bigfoot conference out there at the Salt Fork State Park. So if you guys want to get a really good dose of the Ohio Grassman, if you guys want your biggest chance of coming across one, go to Salt Fork State Park, because apparently that's where you're going to find him.
There's a few spots. There's a few spots where I think people in Ohio are convinced that they have the most activity, but that's definitely one of them. Yeah. I'd say Cuyahoga's another one. But there's a good amount of areas where you can't really miss for sure.
Yeah. Were you guys at more of like an undisclosed location, or can you tell us where you guys were at?
Well, the one I'm mentioning is Cuyahoga National Park, but the other ones I won't disclose. But it was we had to travel a little ways to get there. not too far, maybe 30 minutes or so. But yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was worth visiting for sure. And mind you, this place is massive. Well, any national park is big, right? But um, I didn't have to go more than 100 yards before I was like, oh. Like you just start to recognize things that you recognize.
Oh, yeah. Mike Prine says the Grassman eats grass and mouse tacos. Probably so. Mouse tacos. I bet if they're that big, they're probably eating more than mice and tacos. Probably rat tacos.
I've come to find that they don't have to sustain like they don't need food as much as we do to get sustenance. They have other ways of like collecting energy, if you will.
Yeah. Oh man, some of these comments are hilarious. Okay. And let's see, Mary says, I think the name Ohio Grassman comes from settlers who moved into Ohio. Yes, probably so. The sightings go all the way back to the 1800s. And let's see, I may have some notes on all this. Okay, it says, the first prominent sightings of the Grassman occurred in the small village of Minerva. I said Minerva. I put it
Minerva. Yeah.
Minerva. Yeah. Minerva. I'm from the South, y'all. I'm sorry. I do. I talk funny sometimes. And I add R's where they shouldn't be R's. And S's where there shouldn't be S's, like Walmarts and stuff like that. But the first prominent sighting occurred in Minerva, Ohio. It says that was in 1978. So, okay, wait. In the late 1800s, sightings of a similar hairy biped were made by the Ohio River. I'm sorry, I got my notes on the camera there. The hominid had apparently tried to throw a man out of his carriage, but retreated when his daughter, riding as a passenger, threw several stones at it. I'm not sure what article this is from, y'all. I'm so sorry. I should quote this article, but this is from an article that I found.
Interesting.
And
it might be the first report of humans throwing rocks at the Bigfoot.
Yes, they were throwing rocks at it to stop it from kidnapping their people and stuff. Okay, but it did try to throw a man out of his carriage, and the girl threw stones at it. So it sounds a lot like wild man sightings and wild man cases that have been in some of the old papers and stuff from back in the 1800s. Those were pretty common back then. We had wild men all over the country.
Well, that's the important thing to do. Is I found, like, I was searching for Bigfoot in Long Island, I was finding nothing, right? And it's because I had to search for wild man. So now when you go into these different areas, you have to find what the local terminology is throughout history for those areas. Like in Ohio, it's Grassman, right? And like you have these different names, and like if you look for Dogman in the history of Louisiana, you might not find sightings, but if you find the Rougarou, you'll find a million stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tater logs. I was gonna say Vienna sausages.
Vienna's not Vienna. It's Vienna down here where I live. There's a staple, especially for survival food. Just get some Vienna sausages. Okay.
Afghanistan is when I learned like most. I mean, the army in general, but I tell you, like over there, I had cans of Vienna sausages, and I learned what potted meat was, and
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's sorts of crap. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was all the country boys. They'd pull out cans of stuff, and I tell you, when you're starving, that stuff tastes like you're at a 5-star restaurant.
I bet so, man. I love some good fried spam too. That's really good. I like having that occasionally. It's really salty.
I still bring corned beef and hash and stuff to to camping, and
yeah. Yeah, the things we eat, it is actually pretty good when you're camping. It may not be good when you're home and you got tons of other stuff you could eat. You're probably not going to crack open a can of Vienna sausages, okay? Yeah. But if you're out in the field and you got some crackers and you got some mustard, I say do it, okay?
Yeah.
I know
I still don't know I don't know what the slime is that it's in here. It's like it's
yeah, the jelly. Yeah. The meat jelly. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
the mystery meat.
I know. Oh my God. Well, before we go down that rabbit hole, what you got going on in your future, Mike? You got it. What's your next adventure? You got something planned?
Yeah, a couple things. A couple things. It's just a matter of what I can make happen. But I think this next week I'm going to be with Brian, hopefully, and Montauk again. It's really tough to say, if I can get any further, but I do want to do a. There's a couple of guys between DHP and Encrypted Connections. They were talking to me about maybe doing some stuff in Connecticut and Mass over there. So we'll see. I'll see what happens.
Oh my gosh.
The little green paper that runs the world. That's the only thing standing in my way from doing anything.
Right. Yes. Oh, I get it. Well, yeah, it's not cheap having hobbies like we have. It's definitely not cheap. And yes. Yes. I love spam too. I thought everybody loved spam. Okay.
Yeah. Don't hurt.
Okay, I was so proud of Brian from Montauk is Strange. He was on Coast to Coast AM, you guys. I didn't even know he was on there live a while back until I found out later. And George Norrie, he was on there with George Norrie. So, man, shout out to George Norrie. Okay, y'all know I'm a Coast to Coast alumni as well, and or alum, I think is how you say it. But that was one of the best interviews I've ever heard him do. Was on that. So shout out to Brian Minnick of Montauk is Strange for that.
He did great. Yeah.
He did.
I know he enjoyed the part when George dropped his book on the desk because it's a radio show, so it's but you could get a real idea of how heavy and how much is in his book, and it's over 400 pages. It's no joke,
Yes. I'm seeing all sorts of food comments now. I'm getting hungry, by the way.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah, now I'm getting hungry. But yeah, this has been a really great show, Mike. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us about your Ohio Grassman adventures out there. I'm glad you made it back safe. I'm glad that you knew to go pull the truck over and go find a shelter somewhere and to survive that blizzard that you got in, leaving that adventure too. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you for taking care of yourself, bud. We need you. Okay. So
it got a little dangerous. Shout out to Vic, because I won't get into detail, but he sent me, he helped me out with a little lifeline option in case it got too bad out there, because it was getting ugly for a while.
Vic Cundiff of Dogman Encounters. Yeah, Vic's awesome. Yeah, we just had Vic on the show recently, and I've just been on Vic's show recently, and I love Vic. He's awesome. Yeah, amazing. Good friend.
Yeah, great people.
These are good people. You guys go check out Dogman Encounters too, and also please go check out Long Island Bigfoot on YouTube. I know you don't like promoting yourself. Okay,
no, I know. You can find me at War Woman Goods on Etsy.
Oh my God, that's my shop. But thank you so much. You are a humble man for sure, and a wonderful boots on the ground field researcher. And if you guys want to watch some real good boots on the ground videos and even live adventures of boots on the ground Bigfoot field research and Dogman research, y'all go check out Long Island Bigfoot on YouTube. It's a lot of fun over there, and you're always going somewhere. Yeah, I can't keep up with you.
Yeah, you stay on the move too. So I mean, let's not.
I do. Well, thank you for being here. And I wanted to, I've got my banners up right now. And you guys be sure to come see me in East Alabama at the Bigfoot Town Hall in Opelika on the 18th. I do have the 11th. I have that UFO conference coming up. Also, we have the Georgia Bigfoot Conference coming up in March. That's going to be up in Demarest, Georgia. I think it's at Piedmont University. So we're gonna have it there. It's at a new venue, but it's just right down the road from the old venue in Dillard. So y'all come see us down there. Up there in North Georgia, and also I am going to be speaking at the 2025 Full Disclosure Now conference in St. Pete, Florida. Mark your calendars if you guys want to come to Florida and have a really great time on the beach out there and see some great speakers. That's July the 15th through the 18th, and
I gotta
Man,
get down there. I gotta get down there this year.
yeah. Oh yeah, I wish you could come down there. It was a lot of fun last year.
I was like
Definitely a
a
lot
week.
of
I
fun.
was a week off when I was down there. It just didn't work out for me to be there that week. But yeah, I'll work on it.
Yeah, great crowd there, great crowd. And yeah, it's all about the disclosure. Okay, it's all about disclosure. And I think that we are the disclosure. Okay, so I know some of you guys said that you'll never go in the woods again after watching my shows. Some people say they just got into the woods from watching my show. Okay, so whichever way you're looking, I want everybody to please don't live in fear. Don't live in fear. Go have fun out there. Do go to our national parks and stuff. Please don't be scared of it. Just be very careful when you're out there, and
Yeah,
don't let your kids get away from you. Keep your head on a swivel. Just know there's a lot of weird stuff out there, but as long as you're safe, you'll be okay. All right, you're be
yeah,
safe, be okay. Don't ever go alone, and I mean that. Don't go out there by yourself unless you got a spot GPS device, unless you got people that know where you're going and all that. I don't recommend going anywhere by yourself, especially not in these days and times. Okay, too
yeah.
many missing people.
Even if you don't want to tell anyone where you're going, like leave on on your desk, on your whatever, like on the inside of your door, like write a detailed note of where you are, so that if you do turn up missing, they come looking for you later. They know where to look for you. You know what I mean? It's very, very, very important. But at least tell one person, trust a person, whatever, where you're going. You know, well, the GPS thing is good too, but yeah,
Yeah. Riley Ron says, go alone. If you want to disappear, that's up to you. I don't want you guys to disappear though. Okay.
no,
You know?
there's. I'm living proof. You go out there, I can go out there 500 times and not much happens. So and then there's that one time, but yeah, enjoy yourselves. It's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
don't live in fear. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Keep your head on a swivel. It was coming. I was about to say it. Firewater. Thank you. You guys, please be safe out there and keep your heads or your head on a swivel. I hope you guys don't have more than one head. And but some people do. Some people do.
We went all the way left and then all.
Keep your head on a swivel, y'all. And take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your day. Please come back and see me on Wednesday. Man, I've got some great shows lined up, by the way. We've got Arkeem Raw coming on Thursday night. He has given me a target. I don't even know what it is yet. So I have a target. He's the one that gave me the robot grandma target. And jump rooms to Mars and Venus, the underground facility that was a cloning facility out of Davenport, Iowa. We've got all sorts of really cool stuff. So we got a great show Thursday night. And then Saturday night, I have Tyler Howell coming on with Tyler Howell Outdoors. He and I will both be presenting at the East Alabama Bigfoot Town Hall. He's going to be our guest on Saturday night. He is a Bigfoot field researcher out of Florida and Alabama. He does a lot of research on Flat Rocks property. He's got a lot of great stories, a lot of great encounters, and he's got a really great video of a Bigfoot jumping through the power line area.
Power lines.
Out in Florida. It's a great video. It's a great video. So maybe we can show a little bit of that, or we'll show some still shots from that on Saturday night, if nothing else. So yeah, keep your heads on head on a swivel, and come back and see me, okay, on Wednesday. All right, we'll be back on a Glitch in the Matrix at 1 p.m. And we'll see y'all there. Thank you guys so much for all the support and all your love. And we'll see you there. Thanks, Mike. Bye, y'all.